Hi, in this video I would like to show you some modeling and rendering tips to render out a vintage knob like you see here on this image. So this is the reference image where I created the model from that you can see here in the Iray preview. So this is the plain model, and now let's start applying some materials to it. So this is black plastic. So let's add and edit this material to the scene. We can assign the material by dragging and dropping the preview icon to the object, and we set the material color to something very dark. Never set it to pure black because that will look unreal, but something like that. Okay, so if you take a close look, you see that the surface appears very smooth, so there's no structure there. But if we compare with the image, you see there's some slight bumps going on. So let's create these bumps first. So we have a slot here that allows me to connect bumps, and I'm going to select a texture, and if we switch to library textures, we see all the procedural textures that come with Iray for Rhino, and we're using a Perlin noise for our purpose. And so we apply it, but we don't see much of a change yet. So the reason for that is that our model is in millimeters, and we need to increase the tiling by an order of magnitude to actually see this pattern. So if we take this for 100, so I guess we need something like 1000, or probably even more, to get the structure, and we start seeing now the pattern. So this needs to be much finer, so we can go for 5000, and now we start seeing some nicer structure here in the reflections, but it's even finer. So maybe we increase the intensity, so set the bump strength to 0.5, and we add another octave so we get some finer a final look. And as you can see, maybe we can even use 3. Yeah, let's increase the tiling. So we use 10,000. This is a really large number, but of course we are talking about seeing really very fine structures in our material here. Actually this looks good. I really like the look that we have here. It even allows me to set the roughness of my material to 0, so we get really more like this shiny, bumpy surface that I would like to have. So the next step is that, you know, these edges are really sharp, so like there's no rounding on these edges, and one way to do that would be to go in and place some fillets manually. This gives you greater control. However, this is a lot of work, and also, you know, this changes your model. And there's a very nice trick that you can apply to get this without needing to touch your model. So you select your geometry, and if you go to the render tools tab in Rhino, you see there's an apply edge softening operator, and you can set the edge softening to a certain value, so 0.5. so if we're in millimeters, half a millimeter, that would be fine, and apply that, and you see that changes the mesh, and we get automatically now all these fine bevels, so without having to manually model them. So the model is still the same, but for rendering, you know, the tessellation is changed, and we get this edge softening. So this looks fairly good, and this is now the vintage knob that we looked for. So what's left to do is to create this nice anisotropic disc on top of the knob. And for that, I would like to show you first how not to do it, because you won't get the effect. What people will feel tempted to do is to take that curve, you know, and create a surface from these planar curves. And now if we go to Iray, we should already see that material, and we try assigning an anisotropic metal to that. So we assign a metal material, and if we edit this, we can make it anisotropic. So we set anisotropy to 0.8. However, this does not give us the look that we are hoping for. So no matter at which value we set this, so 1 would be very high, so maybe 0.9, we don't get the anisotropic look. This is because we used the wrong method to create the surface. So let me delete it and show you the right method to get the correct anisotropy. And to do this, you create a line that starts at the center and goes to the border where this disk should be. So that is my curve. Now what I do is I'm revolving this. So start of revolve axis, end of revolve axis. Oh, my bad. Again, start of revolve axis, we need to set it in this plane, and start angle is 0 and revolution angle is 360, and now we get a disk. And if we look at it in shaded mode, you see that the seam is now here, and basically this is a different UV layout that we get on the disk. This special UV layout will give us the correct anisotropy on the object. So if I set this to Iray rendering, you see now I'm assigning the material and we get exactly the look that we were aiming for. So all that's needed is I could try to make this a solid by extruding it and now moving it down and, you know, placing it inside here. Here's the same thing. I could try to create a soft bevel. I will show that method again. So I'm applying the edge softening. Maybe yeah, 0.1 seems appropriate for this. And if we go, you see already here in the shaded preview that we get this softening. And so if we switch to Iray, we see like this very fine crease there, which, you know, looks much more real than if it were 100% perfect and like the surfaces are touching each other. So those were some tricks how to model a vintage knob in Iray for Rhino. So you saw how to use procedural noise to get some nice surface structure. You learned how to use the apply edge softening operator and how to model disks so that you get some really nice anisotropic metal reflections on top of it. If you want to learn more about our software, visit us at nvidia.com/Iray.